Hello and welcome back to the series of Fur in the Fan Part 3. You're probably wondering what I'm doing with this silly helmet on. Well, it's actually part of our next segment. Actually, the next two segments. Our next segment is going to be making a sandblaster. We need to make a sandblaster to get the rust and scale and all the old 70, 80-year-old stuff off of our trailer frame. Now, I've thought about grinding all the rust and scale off, but after grinding a little bit of that stuff to add our new steel to it, it took a lot of time and it really didn't clean up the steel all that great. So I said, well, what's the next thing we can do? Grinding, sandpaper, or sandblasting. That sounds like fun. I used to have a sandblaster, a big old red tank full of media, and it really didn't work all that good. So I have looked online on YouTube and discovered a gentleman who came up with a way to make a sandblaster for practically nothing. And I think it's going to work. So stay tuned, and we're going to get right into how I made a sandblaster so we can get all the scale and stuff off our trailer, so we can get ready to, paint it, make it pretty. Let's get started. So I apologize for not having this video out sooner, but I have a job that required me to do a lot of extra overtime this last month and a half. But anyway, forget all that. Let's get right over to this episode where we make a sandblaster. A little over the top. Okay, let's go. The next thing which we are going to need to do is we need to sand our trailer. We need to get all the rust and grime and crud of almost 70, 80 years off of it so we can put down some primer and some nice paint. The few things we could do is we could sand it with sandpaper, we could grind it all off, or we could sandblast it. And when I was flipping through YouTube, a while back, I come up with a gentleman who did a video on making a sandblaster out of this little nozzle that he hooked up to his air compressor, this little soda bottle or water bottle, and some media. And he did it all for, well, this thing cost me about $7, and then the media. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the shop and we're going to create one of these little sandblasters and test it out. See if we can sandblast this whole trailer for a lot cheaper and a lot easier than using sandpaper or a grinder. So let's go into the shop. So the first thing we need to do is to get our little piece out of these child-proof things. It's always a challenge. So with our easy opening package, we've taken out one of the two rods. We're just going to use one of them, and then if this one actually breaks at some time, then we'll go ahead and create another one. Basically, I have a nozzle and our thread. Nozzle, and we're going to hook this to it. But I need a wrench. Have our nozzle, have our tube. And what the YouTube guy told me that I need to do is to cut a notch in our little tube so that when the bottle of sand is up here, it'll feed down into the tube and the air will shoot it out. So we're going to go over to the grinder here, and then we're going to go grind a hole in our tube. Before we grind our hole in our tube, we want to cut off this ring from the bottle, because that's where we're going to drill a hole to insert the tube into. There we go. So before we actually, I know this is the third time I've said we're going to drill a hole in our tube, but before we do that, we're going to drill a hole in our bottle, because then that way we'll know after we slide the tube in where to put the notch in the tube. So we're going to drill the hole here. Okay. Now he said he wanted that it should be tight. That's just about right. Because if it's loose, then the sand will just blow out the sides here. This is a bit snug. I think that's perfect. Okay. So we have that part done. We'll push this. Maybe it's a little too snug. There we go. So we have it marked there. We're going to get our pen. If I find it. Now we're going to take our pen and we're going to mark in here where our notch is going to be. So I'm going to go probably, looks like about a little bigger than a quarter. Yeah. 1/4 inch mark on the tube. Now let's go ahead and go over to the grinder and we'll grind this out. All right. So we have our little notch cut in here. We're going to need to file and clean some of that out so that it has a nice straight run for the media to shoot through. So let's get our file. So instead of using a hand file, as you can see, I used my Dremel. And what that allowed me to do was to clean out that hole. So we have a nice little spot here. So when the air is going to shoot through here, the sand media is going to drop here, and it should shoot all the sand particles out here. So let's hook up our bottle with sand in it and test this out. Well, that seemed like an easy task to do. So now we have our bottle. We're going to blow out some of the moisture that's still in there. A little Pepsi in there, I don't think it's going to hurt. We have our little rod. We have our little gun. Oh, I see something else we need to do. So the kit does not come with the end here that needs to plug into our hose. So I'm going to go ahead and put one of these male ends onto it. Use a little bit of Teflon tape to keep the air from leaking. This should work. Wrap that up like that. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and stick our bottle down that tube. That's a good snug fit. Hope it's not too much. Okay, so we have our bottle. It's inserted into there. Now we just have to get some media, put it in our bottle. Let's open up that. Now the type of media that we're going to be using is kind of a, what do they call this? An aluminum oxide. It might be a little coarser than we need, but I wasn't sure if the walnut shells would work on it or not. I need to find a funnel. Let's get a funnel. Well, I thought about using a funnel from the kitchen, but I think my wife would be very mad at me. So we're going to try a little scoop in here. Yeah, that works. We're just able to fill up our bottle. Now I could have used a bigger bottle on this, say like a 2 liter or even a milk jug, but you have to hold this thing up with your hand. All right, so we have a little bit in there. We should be able to get a good feel for whether this works or not. Okay, put our lid on it. Just like that. And you know, this has kind of a stink to it. I'm going to put a face mask on and some gloves, and we're going to place an old railroad track piece of iron in there. It's got lots and lots of rust and stuff on it. And let's see if we kind of put up a little bit of a shield here. So we're not going to do very much here in the shop. I just want to see if this actually is going to work. Keep that media from going everywhere. I think that's going to work. All right, we're going to do it this way. We'll just go ahead and get started. So I am putting on air mask. Keep this stuff going in my lungs. Don't want any fur in the fan moments. All right. Glasses. Put on a face shield. We have our air hose. We're going to go ahead and connect it into our new sandblaster. We have the pressure at about 50. You got to see this. Oops. This is what I look like in order to do this, because I want to be safe. All right, let's get to it. Does our $7 thing work with our soda bottle? That. I would say that does a good job. It makes one heck of a mess. So I would say, I don't know if you can see it here. So I'd say it works. It actually cleans it up really good. I mean, we're down to fresh iron here. I'll go ahead and get started on the trailer, and what the heck, won't hurt anything. So next time you see me, we'll have a tarp and whatnot under the trailer and see if we can get some rust in that cleaned off of it. Please like and subscribe. We'd love to have you along to view all of our videos as we rebuild this little trailer.